So welcome to the program. Good night and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Dr. Hinds, my first question is to you. What do you think of the upcoming elections in Guyana?
But I think it's a very important election. It's the first election since the debacle of 2020. And I said debacle because the 2020 election was a disaster. There were charges of malpractice by both of the major contestants. And the results of the elections were delayed for 5 months because there was a recount. Often people say, the elections were delayed without saying they were delayed because there was a recount. And a recount is not a normal thing in election. You usually have recounts after the results were announced. But in this instance, you had a recount before the elections, results were announced, and all kinds of stuff came up from the recount that really does not bode well for elections. So this coming election will be a test as to whether we have learned from 2020 or we are going to go down the same road as we did in 2020. You see, both sides, as I said, made accusations. And my view is if both sides are making accusations, both sides are charging that there were attempts at malpractice or there was actual malpractice, then GCOM has a responsibility to take into consideration the charges by both sides and to fix the system, and so that we have a better election in 2020. So this elections in 2020 would be a test as to whether once and for all—
You mean in 2025?
2025, whether once and for all we can have elections where all sides are comfortable with the outcome. And for that to happen, all sides have to be comfortable with the rules. And as you know, Dr. Rose, the opposition are calling for biometrics, a new voters list, an impartial GCOM machinery. The PPP / the government, they're pushing back against those calls. So there is an impasse right now. And so we don't know what is going to happen yet. But I am hoping that we can have those requirements met and that all parties go into the election feeling satisfied with the rules. That is the only way that we are going to get an outcome where all sides would accept.
Okay, there are pending charges against the former CEO, Mr. Lowenfield, the former head for the Region 4, the chair or whatever it is, Mr. Mingo, and Walter Lawrence, among others. I'm not asking you to comment on the case, but do you think those charges are going to resolve before the next election?
At the rate at which they're going, I am not sure that they would.
Okay. So let me turn to you and the WPA. The WPA has been a powerful party in the 70s, late 70s, 80s. Well, late 70s, before Rodney's death in 1980. And since Rodney's death, the WPA it became a splinter group. But my first question to you on this issue, why there's not a particular leader in the WPA? What model has the WPA attempted to have when it have a number of people called leaders? I know Rodney co-opted the party and he seemed to be the leader at the time. But why there's no one leader in the WPA?
I will come to that, Dr. Rose. I want to make a couple of comments.
Okay,
one, you said that the WPA splintered after Rodney's death. That is absolutely untrue. The WPA became strong after Rodney's death. At the time of Rodney's death, the WPA had just become a political party in July of 1979. We didn't have party structures. We just had a leadership because we weren't hoping to become a political party, but the events of 1979 forced on us